Hello, fellow constant readers. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful evening. Wanted to talk about Stephen King's new book, The Outsider, today, and wanted to put a little caveat here. This video will contain spoilers. Wanted to go over the first few chapters, I guess, maybe 5, 6 chapters today. Really just everything that was leading up to Maitland's final walk towards the courthouse, I guess, for those of you who have read that far. Again, for those of you who haven't read that far, I highly, highly, highly recommend you stop listening to this now and pick up the book and read it. You shouldn't be watching videos that tell you things that you've not earned. Okay, so let's talk about The Outsider. So The Outsider is a story of a horrific crime in Flint, Michigan. Which is a small town, and all the evidence is pointing to this small town hero, Terry Maitland, who is like a baseball coach, man of the year, outstanding citizen. There's just one hang up, and that's that Maitland was 51 minutes away in Lansing, or Cap City as it's called in the book, for capital city of Michigan, Lansing, Michigan, at a conference. So the police arrest Terry Maitland in a public arrest at a baseball game, which is part of a tournament that's leading up to some finals. So he's arrested in front of all the parents of all the kids that he coaches and taken to the police station, and that's when things kind of start to unravel. See, Terry, he knows that he didn't kill this kid. There's no way he's killed this kid, so he's cooperating with the cops, giving them his DNA, giving them blood samples, everything that they would need from an unwilling convict. He's giving it freely. So this leads the detective Ralph Anderson to believe that either Terry has committed the crime and is proud of it, or well, that's really it. Everything he's been trained so far in his career, leading up to this moment, says, if the DNA evidence points to the guy, you got to convict. So the first 5, 6 chapters, in this book, the chapters are numbered kind of weird. It's kind of like subsections, and then you have 20 to 25 chapters in each subsection, or 19 to 25 chapters in each subsection. So the first subsection is what we're talking about, and that's just everything leading up to Terry getting killed, is what I would consider like the first third of the book, I guess. So as they're finding this evidence, they discover that Terry has an airtight alibi with eyewitnesses that have him, again, 51 minutes away at some kind of teacher's conference thing. And then they were also meeting and greeting with an author, one of their favorite authors. The name eludes me right now. I've only done one read through, so some of the names of the characters haven't quite sank in. So Bill Samuels is the DA, and he's pushing constantly to keep Terry in jail and not allowing him to bail out, etc. And then when they take him to his arraignment hearing, Terry gets shot, but Ralph sees this like creepy burned man there, which later when they review the media tapes of the incident, that burned man doesn't show up. So that's kind of the section of the book that I want to cover, and I kind of want to cover the things in between. And one of the things in between I want to cover is the Peterson family and the way that they get basically torn apart by Frank Peterson getting killed and mutilated the way that he did. So basically this kid gets mutilated and murdered in a horrible way. He gets sodomized by a stick, and he gets a chunk of his neck bit out, and he bleeds to death. This is like, I think it was like an 11-year-old boy. So this family gets shooken up by this, and suddenly the mother is in like this crazed state, and she's yelling and screaming because all these people are like dropping off casseroles and coming by, etc. And she goes into like a coronary event and dies of a heart attack. So now you got this father and this son, and the father is like super duper depressed, and he goes and he fucking hangs himself. So now you've got this son who's left over, and the son is the one that ends up shooting Terry and killing Terry subsequently, and then getting shot by Ralph Anderson and dying himself. So as the story kind of develops, you find out that this outsider, he feeds on the sadness and the emotions. He kind of reminds me of Dandelion, or the name is Dadelio, sorry, not Dandelion, or Pennywise the clown, the dancing clown, is who the outsider's kind of starting to remind me of, as I'm about halfway through the story, and I don't want to go too much on that. You know, again, past what we wanted to talk about here tonight. So the outsider reminds me of Pennywise, sort of, or Dandelo, and you start to kind of see that there's another instance of this happening, and it's leading into more and more as far as this story goes. It seems like King has really started to enjoy or embrace writing these detective novels, or detective style novels, you know, where there's like a crime committed, and you've got this group of investigators who are going to go on this supernatural adventure, you know, challenging everything that they believe in. And it was really prevalent in the Mr. Mercedes, or the, what was that trilogy called? It had like Mr. Mercedes, and then the shit, I read it too. I just read it not too long ago. Fuck, can't remember. It's even referenced a Bill Hodges trilogy. So it seems like that's kind of where King's mindset's been, and it's really neat to see his supernatural stories that he's trying to kind of bring a little bit more away from like the northeastern region of the United States. You know, it's not all in Maine anymore. Now this is in Michigan, which Flint, Michigan in real life is like really, I believe that area is pretty impoverished, and they have bad water, and there's bad stuff going on. I mean, so that'd be like a perfect place for something that feeds on sorrow and sadness to live and exist or visit, you know, as it's kind of hinted at in the book that he may be a traveler, the outsider, so you never know. Again, I'm about halfway through, so I've gotten to the point where Holly starts to become a bigger part of the investigation, which I loved Holly in the Hodges books, in the Bill Hodges books. I thought she was amazing. I thought Holly was like one of my favorite characters in those books, and I'm really, really happy to see her returning to King's books. It's always nice whenever he has a familiar face in his books. Albeit if it's Randall Flagg in The Stand, you know, and then in The Dark Tower, it's just really cool. It kind of helps you, to me, it kind of helps build this overarching macroverse that he talks about in a lot of his books. So it's pretty cool to see a tie-in that comes back to the macroverse from King, or at least, I guess it's not really a macroverse, but you guys know what I mean. Like, it's cool to see that loop back through, and King's really, really good about that kind of stuff. So that was really all I wanted to talk about today. I feel like I said a whole lot of nothing, and I expect that these types of videos or content will start to be a lot cleaner moving forward. I'm kind of wanting to do them as like a free form kind of experiment, kind of talk about the book and where I'm at in the book, and kind of go on from there, and then see what you guys think, and you know, see how your experiences were. So if there's an audience for this, I'll keep on doing it. Let me know. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment, you know, hit the bell, whatever, all that stuff people say. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys continue to have a great night, and I hope this video didn't take up too much of your life. Take it easy.